So while I was putting together all these videos and stuff for Steam and Early Access and launch, I thought I might as well keep the camera rolling here and answer some of your questions real quick. And why not? It's always fun. First question, how often will you update the game after the Early Access release? Like I mentioned in the Early Access video, we're not committing to a certain time that we'll be updating every time, but I can just tell you internally, we've been updating the game ourselves as we build it anywhere from like 1 to 2 weeks, sometimes daily, multiple times a day. So as long as we have an update ready, there's no reason we can't update it immediately on Steam. That's why we're loving working with Steam so well. It's been flawless for updating the crew across the countries as we develop, so that's awesome. You probably remember, like back with our first game, we didn't update it, but situation different this time. We actually do have the source code for the game we paid for, so we're good for this one. Updating won't be a problem at all as long as it keeps going as it's been going. All right. The price for the game, it will launch on Early Access at $9.99 and will go up as the game gets bigger and whatnot. So if you haven't already, pre-ordered or pre-purchased the game via the Kickstarter campaigns and whatnot, yeah, you can get in at $9.99 and you'll be locked in at that for the rest of the life of the game on Steam, pretty much. It's probably, I mean, who knows how pricing is going to go over the years, but it's not going to ever be stupid expensive or anything, like an import game or something. Probably just get to a standard price and stay there. I don't really want to ask too much, Just want y'all playing the game, man. What will be in the first Early Access release? What will be in the first Early Access release is the most important stuff that we want your feedback on. The basic interaction between two characters, the striking, the grappling, and the movement. We do have, more than one move, obviously, ready to go for the game, but I've asked the guys for the first Early Access release, the programmer, to please scale it down to just one move for the initial day one release. So we can work on the most important thing, just that core stuff. And then if everybody thinks it's good and ready to go, we can start rolling out more moves in the very next update. Could be the next day for all I know. It'll all start rocking there. So we're keeping out no creative wrestler, the cage and scaffold obviously not on day one release. And even modding capabilities, I want you guys playing with that stuff as early as possible. But for day one release, just want you to pick up a controller or whatever and tell us how it feels and if we're good to go and continue from there. Can I pay again for the Early Access release just to support you guys if I've already ordered it or paid? Yeah, you absolutely can on day one, but please keep in mind, if we owe you access to this game on early release because you've been a big Kickstarter backer or on a hero list, do not feel you need to pay again for early access. We're giving you access with a Steam key as soon as we get them for you. I've already put in the request to Steam to start getting the free keys to distribute to you guys. We've never done it before. It's our first release on Steam. There's bound to be some little hiccups or whatnot while you're waiting for your free key. You might be tempted. And honestly, if you want to, go ahead and give in to the temptation and throw another $9.99 our way, we'll appreciate it. Just make sure you let us know so we can add that to our total for you if you're on our hero list. We keep a running tab of how much money you've all graciously thrown at us, and we're going to use that in the future. If we decide we can do anything fun for some of you guys and start giving out little extra bonuses, rewards. If you've given us, $50 over your lifetime or $100, we want to know how much you've given and keep track of it. So if you do decide to chip in again for early access, please make sure we know about it so we can treat you right. And then somebody asked about, oddly enough, the names of the programmer, Will or Mike. Yes and yes. When we launched our Kickstarter, the idea was we only need enough money to put, a programmer to work full-time for a month or two. And when we started the Kickstarter, our current program, or our programmer at the time, Will, was available to do that. However, during the Kickstarter campaign, we weren't able to work with Will anymore, right in the middle of the campaign pretty much. Nothing against him. He was doing really good work. We loved working with the guy, but it just wasn't working out time-wise and whatnot for him to keep going. So we brought in a second programmer to help out. That programmer's name is Mike. He took over the reins once Will had to stop working with us, and Mike has been doing awesome ever since. So Mike is our new lead programmer as of the Kickstarter. Slightly different situation though. Mike is not available to just drop everything and work full time for us for a month or two. He's very well paid in his current day job to be a developer. So he's working on Pro Wrestling X for us on his spare time, which we appreciate obviously super much. But again, it meant that our original plan to condense everything into a month or so couldn't be done because Mike wasn't available full time. He's been cranking on evenings and weekends best he can, so that stretched it out a bit. Plus we had to integrate Steam and all that fun stuff. But yeah, Mike's the new lead guy. All hail Mike, he's awesome. When will we show the new character? During the Kickstarter campaign, we unlocked a third character to join the roster. He's been designed. He looks really cool. He's really not like the current two characters. He's not a standard, heavyweight, cruiserweight looking guy. So I can't wait to show him. We haven't really picked a date on when to announce him, but I suspect it's going to be in the coming weeks, not months. He looks really good. When will Early Access launch? Honestly, it's a matter of days now. It's not a matter of months or even weeks. We have been cranking, as I record this, on all the material Steam needs. We have to make all of our own little, buttons for the pages, all our graphics, all the PDF documents for support and whatnot. We've been cranking on that. The checklist is great, and we're knocking it off pretty good. So, damn, I don't know. By the time you watch this video, it could already be open. Now, the thing about Early Access and how we're going to launch it, we're not going to be sending out a huge amount of mainstream press releases or anything to announce the Early Access. We've learned from our past mistakes that there can be too much of a good thing. We don't want to do a worldwide simultaneous release for PC, Mac, and Linux all in one day, with all the access to our Kickstarter backers and you people buying in at $9.99. If that all happened on day one, we would be slaughtered. There's just the four of us, and pretty much I'm working on tech support, customer relations. We just have to really kind of slowly open the tap. So Early Access will be launched. You guys will know about it first. People that are entitled to get the free keys. And then, once we're over the initial hump, or day or so, and we know that we've got all the kinks worked out, the game's working right, there's nothing major holding us back, then we're going to open up the release more and more. That way. New shirts. Again, I get asked for Pro Wrestling X shirts. These babies are all sold out. Can't get them anywhere. And we're not making more of these. We are making new ones, though. Different design. A couple different designs, actually. But instead of making them and shipping them ourselves, we've actually been looking into partnering with a merchandising company, and we got a pretty good one we've been working with. So, once that relationship is all tied up, expect some new shirts from Pro Wrestling X. We got some pretty cool ideas too. I think you'll get a kick out of them. That's not likely to happen. I'd say give that weeks, not days. The focus obviously right now is on making a game and not shirts. Will this be released on Steam only? What about the other digital portals like Desura? It will be Steam only for a long time. Again, we're a small team, and to make sure that we're managing all the different builds for all the different platforms, for all the different portals, and getting the updates on all these different places, we really need to be smart about it to make sure that you guys get all the attention you deserve from us. And it's going to be Steam only, so we can again manage that pipeline probably until we're considered full release. Once we're out of Early Access, and we've updated the game a ton, and we're used to it, we've got a good workflow, we're not intimidated by more work, more sales, we'll open it up on more platforms. What about a hard copy release of Pro Wrestling X, and when? Again, when it's considered full release, you will get an offer of a hard copy. That would be fantastic, with a box and whatnot. Now, keep in mind, the Kickstarter guys, if you back this on Kickstarter, you'll be getting a special collector's version of the game once it just releases, once it reaches the Kickstarter level of completeness, which was really just a few modes and a few more moves than the early access. So that'll be coming first, and when that's ready, of course, we'll let people buy that. I know it sounds kind of jerky to say I'm going to let people buy the game, but we haven't accepted any money for a hard copy of the game in years. So it'll be kind of a special thing once we can offer that again. A similar question: can I pre-order a hard copy today? No, please don't send us your money for a hard copy of the game. We're not looking to scam people with pre-orders and take all your money. And you know how long this game has been, trying to get done. I don't want people waiting longer than they should. So no pre-orders accepted for our future hard copies of the game right now. How long has this version that you're going to be seeing on Steam been in development? Well, again, this goes back to our Kickstarter back in, it ended, April. It's been in development, well, before then we had our previous programmer working on it for 6 months or so. At the time of the Kickstarter, our artist, Kola, had been cranking on it for, a good 6 months. At that point, part-time, mind you, part-time hours. When our new programmer, Mike, took over, just recently, a few months ago here, back in April, he essentially, because he's got a lot of experience doing what he's doing, right? He rewrote pretty much everything and in a hurry. And as you can see from the videos I've shown you, doing pretty good. He's been working part-time, a lot of part-time though, more than 2 hours a week, I can guarantee you that. And he's been doing that since about April or May. Slowed down a bit over the summer as we all did our summer vacation-y thing. So if I had to say full-time, how much work has been done on this version of Pro Wrestling X, probably the equivalent of 2 to 3 months full-time development, because everybody's got day jobs and working on it part-time. So yeah, I know it seems like a long time, but when you crunch all the hours together, it's probably only 3 months or so worth of development. Well, let's just hope early access and the Steam release goes well, and we can start tempting and luring these guys away from their day jobs and fire up the Pro Wrestling X studio again with full-time developers in seats. That's my dream, man. That's what I want to see make this happen. So that's all the questions that I have for now. If you have more questions, please, you know where to find us: ProWrestlingX.com, Facebook.com, ProWrestlingX, Twitter. We're awfully easy to find. We answer any and all questions. Fire away, man. There's no such thing as a bad question. Thank you very much for your support. Can't wait to get the sucker in your hands, get your feedback, and what can I say? Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon. Cheers. Whoop, sorry, forgot a question here. Somebody said, well, a lot of people said, what about a console release? Yeah, I'd love to, but you see where we're at here with the PC release. We got a long ways to go before we've got a game we can consider big enough and full enough to release as a standalone finished game on console. Which console would we release to? I honestly have nothing against any of them. I'm a big, Xbox fan myself. Nothing wrong with the PlayStation consoles. I understand they might even be a little easier to work with these days than the old Xbox indie games. To be perfectly frank, we could port this game relatively easily over to the Wii U as well. I think that would be a blast to bring wrestling back to Nintendo, don't you think? As far as stuff like the Ouya and the Android consoles, we can. I don't think we will anytime soon. Again, we're a small team, and to build out a special version of the game for a console that may not have a particularly lot of users isn't so much about not making a lot of money on it. It's because I want to give those people the attention and technical support and everything they need and deserve. And if there's only going to be, a half a dozen of them, I'm not sure I could give them the time they deserve, right? So best to maybe try to get you guys to hop over to PC. That's where that game is going to be best. Anyway, man, for mods and everything else. So, okay, did I miss any questions? Nope, we're all good. Thanks again. Talk to you soon. Cheers.